What's up, Taiwan? I'm Joyce Tseng with news from here in Taiwan and around the world. Candidate debate schedules have been set ahead of Taiwan's presidential election in January. Lai Ching-te of the ruling Democratic Progressive Party, Hou You-yi of the main opposition Kuomintang, and Ko Wen-je of the Taiwan People's Party will face off on December 30th. Their running mates will then have their own debate on New Year's Day. Both events will be organized by Taiwan's public television service. Taiwan's Constitutional Court has met to discuss granting prisoners voting rights. They're trying to decide whether to challenge an earlier decision that stopped prisoners from voting in January's presidential and legislative elections. In November, Taiwan's Supreme Administrative Court quashed a lower court ruling that would have allowed a polling station in a Taipei prison. Absentee voting is not allowed in Taiwan. Voters must travel to their registered place of residence to cast their ballots. Taiwan's democracy is often described by its president, Tsai Ing-wen, as hard-earned. And just a day before International Human Rights Day, hundreds gathered to remember why that is. It's a beautiful December day here in Taipei, but people are not just outside to enjoy the good weather. Hundreds of people have gathered to come appreciate Taiwan's freedom and democracy and what it took to achieve. This is Jingmei White Terror Memorial Park, which is built around former prisons from a dark time in Taiwanese history. Now, White Terror was a 4-decade-long authoritarian single-party rule where thousands of people were killed and imprisoned in former detention centers like these behind me. Now, Taiwan has come a long way since then, but the government and people here still have to grapple with this painful past. And that's why this event, just a day before International Human Rights Day, Taiwan's President Tsai Ing-wen has also come to pay her respects.
因为各位前辈的支持和帮助，我们一起找到属于台湾的转型正义之路，回应社会大众对正义的期待。
Earlier, the crowd heard directly from a survivor from the White Terror period. 91-year-old Mr. Yang thanked his country for not forgetting about him and for what those like him endured, so that people today know just how much there is to celebrate in the country Taiwan has become. Taiwan's Environment Ministry has pushed back against a drop in the country's global climate rankings. Taiwan fell 4 spots in the latest Climate Change Performance Index to number 61 out of 67 countries. The ministry said that Taiwan had cut emissions better than the global average and criticized the study's evaluation methods. But the study's publisher, German Watch, advised Taiwan to end fossil fuel subsidies and expand clean energy options. The report was released during the ongoing UN COP28 climate summit.
No country is on track to prevent dangerous climate change. No country is on track altogether to do enough for the 1.5 threshold.
It's a problem faced by countries all over the world, how to combine renewable energy with people's existing lifestyles. Officials in southern Taiwan think they've come up with a solution for the region's fisheries workers. Jaime Ocon reports.
Over 200,000 solar panels cover these fishing grounds in Taiwan's southern city of Tainan. The government here is showing off its efforts transitioning to renewable energy in order to power key industries. It involves building giant awnings of solar panels over fishing grounds, with officials touting its efficiency and practicality.
这样的一个养殖方式有多元的太阳，让大家也了解说这个渔电共生的发展是跟渔业是实际的融合，包括我们看到的几个岸场，它的养殖的鱼种啊，还有那种类是非常多的。
The government is touting this process as fishery and electricity symbiosis. Solar panels provide shade for the fish and also generate electricity. The electricity is then used to regulate the temperature of the water in the various ponds, as every species is different. This process means farmers can breed more fish and makes the farm energy self-sufficient.
伊是较寒天人的物件，比如讲咖啦，还是斑头啊、赤石啊，迄种寒天人的鱼啊，会当水较冷袂要紧。啊，像拢虎斑这，也是我这种爱较热天的是，只是要甲饲较湿者较冷咧。我饲较湿是风险带较重啊，我家己较无闲啊。我饲较冷的，我较免烦恼啊。
Taiwan is hoping to be a greener nation, and like many countries, has set a goal of net zero carbon emission by 2050. moving away from coal and gas in favor of cleaner sources of energy like solar, hydro, and wind. And sites like these might just help them reach that target. Andy Shui and Jaime Ocon for TaiwanPlus.
The US, South Korea, and Japan have agreed on new ways to respond to North Korean cybersecurity threats. Security advisors from the three countries met in Seoul to address North Korean satellite development, cryptocurrency abuses, and cyberspace activity. It comes just weeks after Pyongyang claimed to launch a military satellite into orbit. U.S. officials say the meeting follows from promises made earlier this year to improve trilateral ties.
When it comes to the DPRK, we are keeping our eye on the ball because it continues to represent a threat to international peace and security and to regional peace and security.
Australia's dwindling koala population is facing a new blow. John Van Trieste has more.
A koala finds a comfortable perch in a eucalyptus tree. It's a deeply Australian scene, but one that's increasingly rare. Here in the state of New South Wales, koalas have been declared endangered. Some estimates say they could disappear from the wild by 2050. And this isn't the only part of Australia where they're in trouble. 500 kilometers north of Sydney, plans are underway to take action. Over 3,000 square kilometers of public forest and national park land are set to merge into a new national park, Great Koala National Park. But that won't happen until 2025 at the earliest. And in the meantime, the rush is on to profit before logging is banned.
There's been a massive expansion and intensification of logging in some of the most biodiverse areas of the Great Koala National Park. There is an intent behind that to grab the resources whilst they still can.
The state government has responded. It says it stopped logging in over 100 koala hotspots on state land in September alone. But these cover just under 5% of the proposed national park. And officials say that while they want to move quickly, rushing the national park is out of the question.
The real issue here is how can we do it as quickly as possible? How can we work with people? We weren't just going to press a stop altogether straight away and without any plan for what happens with those communities and without a proper assessment of the forests.
And so logging continues. The timber industry argues this isn't a bad thing. Industry leaders say they employ 9,000 people in New South Wales and operate to high environmental standards. They say it's possible to have both logging and sustainable forests, and that a ban would just lead people to buy wood from less strictly governed parts of the world.
If we were to lose our native forestry industry in New South Wales, we're really just pushing the supply of that timber overseas to other jurisdictions where they have much weaker environmental standards, where we're seeing a lot more rapid degradation of those environments and a greater impact on threatened species in other jurisdictions.
But environmentalists sharply disagree. They want a total ban and more.
My greatest aspiration is that all the forests across the Great Koala National Park are immediately protected from logging.
What ends up happening will be critical. The proposed park is home to 15% of New South Wales' declining koala population. And logging is set to ramp up even further. If the park isn't created fast enough, it could spell trouble for these iconic animals. John Su and John Van Trieste for TaiwanPlus.
One of Taipei's most famous parks has a big squirrel issue. Literally, park goers have been feeding the animals, leading to lots of husky squirrels. Leslie Liao has more.
If the mere sound of a rustling food package attracts a swarm of squirrels to you, then you might be in Taipei's Da'an Forest Park. These furry critters have gotten used to people feeding them, and it's beginning to show. The park's squirrel population has surged, and the animals themselves are getting chunkier.
会拿面包屑，然后就会有一群松鼠围过来。但是吃面包的话，也许糖类会比较多，所以现在松鼠都看起来，这边的松鼠看起来都蛮胖的。
一般公园的话有，会让松鼠异常的繁殖，太多了。
Park authorities have urged people not to feed the local wildlife, but to little effect. Now they've installed cameras and are punishing the behavior with fines.
电影部分我们是11月28号装的，目前我们每天都有截取出来看，目前是都没有人在木平台这边做喂食，喂食野生动物是罚1200到6000块的一个罚款。
Though people feeding animals in the park think they might be doing good, they're actually doing harm.
公园里面有6600棵树，还有各种不同的植物，应该是足够它不要去觉得自己好像很有爱心。其实你做的一个行为是，你影响到它的活动，而且影响它的觅食能力。
According to estimates, Da'an Forest Park is home to 600 squirrels. The ideal population is 200. Such overpopulation could wreak havoc on the park's delicate ecosystem. So keep an eye on your lunch next time you visit. Howard Zhang and Leslie Liao for TaiwanPlus.
Free diving legend Alexei Molchanov visited Taiwan for the first time this year to attend Deep Week, the world's biggest free diving festival. Our reporter Sandy Chi was there to meet him.
This is the last breath Alexei Molchanov will take before descending over 100 meters into the ocean's depths and returning to the surface over 4 minutes later. The Russian is hailed as the world's best living freediver. In 2023 alone, Molchanov has set over 10 new freediving world records. The most daring of all was making this 156-meter descent with added weight. He then swam back up with the monofin in 4 minutes 27 seconds, all in one single breath. To date, Molchanov holds over 30 world records.
Every year, I have some goals to set the records, and then you have some shortcomings and problems, and then you just find a way how to fix that. It's all about end result, and it very much depends on ability to execute in this moment with the best efficiency and not waste any oxygen.
Molchanov began swimming at the age of 3 and started diving with his family when he was 5. Since then, freediving has been a central part of his life.
And I think this adventure combined with challenge and freediving is an exploration of yourself as well, of your own abilities to relax. So this combination of adventures and exploration was just something that hooked me, and I'm freediving since then.
After diving and setting records all over the world, this year Molchanov traveled to Xiaoliuqiu, a small island off the south coast of Taiwan, for the world's biggest freediving festival, Deep Week.
Okay, so I'm getting ready for my dive.
It's Molchanov's first time visiting Taiwan. The experience impressed him, especially his encounter with sea turtles.
Lots of places to see underwater, like turtles. Yesterday I never seen turtles so friendly, and they were just next to me, and she was almost trying to intimidate me.
During the week-long event, Molchanov talked about what it's like to be deep in the ocean, pushing himself to his limits.
It can be a 100-meter dive, but if it's something it's not a best result for me, if it's 60, 70, 80% of my best result, then I can allow a bit of slack. I can allow a bit of thinking and wondering and dreaming. There's a lot of beauty, a lot of new sensations in terms of gravity, and then it's just beautiful to experience that. You focus on this experience in depth, and it's just enjoyable.
He also shared with other freedivers his experiences and what the sport means to him.
In freediving, it's being aware of what's going on around you, understanding the environment and understanding your own body, and being very sensitive to what's going on inside of you. This is the essence of freediving, being sensitive, being aware, and understanding what is your limit.
Freediving may seem to many like a dangerous extreme sport, but for Molchanov, it is about much more than the physical challenge. For him, it is fun, adventurous, and competitive. But most importantly, it's about diving deep within to better know yourself. Scott Huang and Sandy Chi for TaiwanPlus.
Thank you for watching What's Up Taiwan. Finally today, we leave you with images of the streets of London lit up for Christmas. I'm Joyce. Take care, and I'll see you next time.